we've just gone over people counters, and now I'm going to get you to use it in short sentences. Well, the first one's short, the next one's a little bit longer, depending on how many people you're including in it. But now that you know people counters, you can now describe how many people in your family. So that's this one right here. Now you will see in here, hang on a second. Now you will see in here this kanji here. This is the kanji for nin, okay? But it can be read differently. Like for example, what was one person in Japanese? How do you say one person? Hitori. Thanks for that, Owen. So that is actually read differently. So there's no nin in the word hitori, okay? That one actually changes to hitori. It changes to a ri sound. But for every other one, the pattern is the number plus nin. All right, so when I say there's 5 people in my family, I use this particular pattern. Now, where the dots are, that's where you're going to put the number of people in your family. So if we're saying 5 people, how do I say that in Japanese? Gone in, thanks Joe. So I'm going to write this one actually in kanji, and that is the kanji for 5, go. And I'm going to say this, gonin kazoku desu. Gonin kazoku desu. Okay, that means there are 5 people in my family. Judging by that sentence, what do you think the word for family is? Okay, thank you. Kazoku is the word for family. Anyone know what des means? Okay, Joe's answering all the questions today. Doesn't mean anything, it's just a sentence finisher. Okay, so now I'm going to write one up here. Or actually I'll say it in English, and I want you to figure out how to say the whole sentence in Japanese. So how do I say there are 2 people in my family? Let's say it's just me and my mum. How do I say that in Japanese? Michaela? Okay, now I'm going to write this in Romaji, and you are absolutely correct. So, futari kazoku desu. Now, up above there was this kanji here. Okay, where do you think that's represented in this word? If that makes sense. Which part of that phrase is that actual kanji? Okay, yep. Yeah, this time the reading changes. So it's actually, that is pronounced ri in this. So I'm just trying to get you used to the idea that sometimes when kanji are with different kanji, it can change the reading of it as well. So it's not actually nin this time. Okay, so futari kazoku desu. Are you right with that so far? Okay, let's move on. Now, so we've established how to say how many people in your family. That's a fairly basic sentence. This one's a little bit more complicated. Okay, so turn your thinking caps on so that you can understand this. Now, I want to describe now not just how many people are in my family, but how many of each family member in my family. I want to talk about the makeup of my family. Okay, so I want to say I've got a mum and I've got 2 brothers as well, 2 older brothers. I need to specify older and younger. Okay, so that's where this one comes into play. Now, what was that first word again, if we remember back from the last sentence? That first word in this one? This word here? Okay, family. So this next particle, or group of particles, ni wa, represents within. Okay, so now I'm talking about within my family. So let's say I want to say I've got a mum and 2 older brothers in my family. Okay? In these areas where there's dots is where I'm going to put the counters and how many of those, the people and how many of those people in your family. So if we remember, I'm talking about my own family. Am I going to use formal or informal language? Informal, good. So what's the informal word for mum? Yep, that's it. Sophie said it. Haha. So I might just put it in here, actually, it might fit. Haha. Now, in this next one, Oh, sorry. Yeah, in the next group of dots is where I'm going to put 2 older brothers. Okay, so this is where now we're going to have to combine the people counters as well as the family member names. So let's, as a class, first establish what is older brother in the informal in Japanese. Sam?
Isn't it Oni-san?
That's the formal. That's the formal. So what's the informal, Amy?
Ani.
Ani. Now there's 2 of them. That's the only issue with this. So ani, I'm going to also combine that with 2 people. Okay. So what is the counter for 2?
Ni. No.
Okay, 2 is ni, but 2 people is quite different. And Angus and Holly have just said it. It is futari. Okay. Now I could just say ani futari. That's fine. Okay, but to make this sentence even less broken and more perfect, I can put a particle in between these ones as well. That particle is actually this one here. So I'm going to slot that into this area. So instead of just saying ani futari, I'm going to say ani ga futari. All right? Not sure why, but that's how it's said in Japanese. So if you want to make it even more perfect, just slot that particle in there. Then I'm going to finish off the sentence by using ga again and saying ga imasu. Now, imasu means exists. So if I'm saying 2 older brothers, my mum, in my family exist, okay, it's just like saying there are, or there is in my family, okay? So imasu is exist for animate objects, people, animals, etc. All right. Now, you'll notice in between mum and older brothers, there's this particle here. Does anyone want to have a guess what that could be? Yeah. Yeah, top. That is top. Do you know what it means? What top means? And, yeah. So if I'm listing things, if I'm listing nouns here, which is what these are, I'm going to put in between every noun the particle top. Now, if I want to add more to that, because I've actually got more in my family than just mum and 2 older brothers, there's only 2 spots to put things. All I'm going to do is just keep listing them, but put tot in between. Okay, so if I want to add myself to this family, because I'm in my family, I'm going to say, kazoku ni wa haha to ani ga 2人 to watashi ga imasu. Okay, does that make sense? Before we go on, I just want to do one example then using this structure. Let's say I have a mum and a dad and 2 younger sisters in my family. Okay, how am I going to say that? So Sophie is going to have a go at saying this sentence. So just to recall, it is a mum and a dad and 2 younger sisters in my family. Okay. Okay, pretty close. I would have accepted that, but I would probably just want to put in an extra particle, and you might have missed out a particle where you should have had one as well. Sam, you want to have a go?
Yeah, alright. Kazoku ni wa haha chichi to ani futari imasu.
Okay, again, I would have accepted it, but you missed out a few particles. Just to make it perfect. Okay. Let's. Yeah. Okay. You can do that too, I suppose. Michaela.
Kazoku ni wa haha to chichi to imoto 2人 ga imasu.
Good. I would have just put one more particle in there. I'm just being picky now because that was awesome Japanese, but I'm just being picky now. So Joe reckons he knows.
Kazoku ni wa haha to chichi to imoto ga 2人 ga imasu.
Excellent, and that one is perfect. Okay, so if I'm being really picky, I want you to put a ga in between imoto and futari. Imoto ga 2人. And then put another ga after that, which I think is the one you missed. So a lot of people close, a lot of people, it doesn't really matter. It was a little bit broken, but it was definitely okay. And then there's that perfect example at the end. Thank you, Joe.